Morning.
Morning, Mike. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
Well, Mike, again, thanks for having me. My name's Lenny. This is my 75 CB750 that I slightly cafe'd. I want to thank you for having me over here, and thank you and the Norton Club. And I want to thank all the motorcycle families since I've gotten back into motorcycling. Everybody has been wonderful and helpful and supportive, and you couldn't ask for a better bunch of guys. Just want to get that out of the way. This is a bike that I did wanting to do a cafe after I restored a couple of stock bikes, and I didn't change anything on this. All we did was powder coat the frame, didn't chop the frame or didn't do anything, so the frame's stock. It's a semi-cafe, a Restomod. It's not a true cafe because I left the rear pegs on it, and cafe is just a solo bike. So this one's not a solo bike. A couple of my buddies have given me a hard time about that. Just did the Clubman bars on the front end, did some progressive springs, dualed the front discs, which I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. Not fun, but it's doable. Sure makes the braking nice. My daughter helped me with the pattern on the drill out on those. The way the bike started was a stock bike. I happened to find a mechanic after I restored my Sandcast, looking for a mechanic. I happened upon this guy out in Clackamas named Kenny Dreer. That was an interesting conversation on the phone with him. After about 3 questions from him on my bike, he goes, I tell you what, bring your bike out to me. If you don't like me or I don't like you, you can take your bike and you can leave. And I went, wow, I like you already. And took my bike out to him and pulled in with this restored 750. And he goes, in '69, I was a service manager at a Honda dealership. I still have the books on this bike, and tuned my bike up beautifully, did all kinds of stuff to it. He even re-spoked all my wheels because he wasn't sure about the spoking. He was an amazing guy. I was taking this bike over to him as a stock bike to do some stuff, and he was retiring, just sold his place, put it on the market, sold it in 3 days, and was heading to Florida. I helped him load his drag bike up into his camper, and I said, Kenny, what am I going to do? And he says, this is what you do. He gave me his painter. He said, put raised rims on it, get a Kirker exhaust, put Clubman bars on it, and you'll have a nice bike. And so Kenny Dreer, again, if you're watching, thank you, Kenny. He's been an amazing find. Then he moved. Then the painter that painted this painted a couple more bikes for me, and then he retired. So it's getting hard to find the old craftsman. I resorted to doing everything I could on this myself. This actually had a stock big old double seat on it, and I was lucky enough to tear the cover off and find this beautiful foam underneath it. Took a turkey knife and just formed this a little bit and had it recovered, and that ended up being my seat. My wife rides on the back of this still, so it's comfortable. Didn't do much to the engine other than polish the cases. Another interesting thing is I've re-nickeled a few of these parts myself, the nuts and bolts and a few little odds and ends. I've done my own nickeling, which was a fun little project. Did an O-ring chain, and I've put LED blue lights in the faceplates and redid the gauges. Other than that, she runs like she looks, and I ride this one quite a bit. That is Kenny Dreer's last fiberglass fender that he handed me as he left, and I was able to incorporate it into the bike. And if you say it's a Norton, I will agree. That came from Kenny. Kenny was the most influential. When I was working in HVAC, I needed something to do in the winter times in my garage, so this was just a winter project. I do about a bike a winter. I haven't done much on this motor. That was a stock motor, but did everything else. Completely rebuilt with new faceplates, rebuilt the gauges, and put in and updated everything with LED lights. This one I think I put a new wiring harness on, but everything else is basically as bone stock as it. You could basically put fenders back on this thing and handlebars, and it's actually the original seat pan still. Yeah, it's worked out really nice. The 4-in-1 Kirker. Kenny said automatically get a Kirker exhaust, so that's what I did, and I've been super happy with Kirker. I've got a Kirker on one of my other bikes. If you want to run a straight pipe, you just take it off right there, and you've got a straight pipe. So if I want to make the neighbors happy, I can do that. Don't recommend it, but it sure sounds nice. The painter that Kenny recommended to me, I found them. We were trying to duplicate the Sunrise Honda orange color, and he suggested this color. I wanted them to do a nice little extra touch because I wanted to have some blue in it, because blue is kind of my color, so that was my added on to that. And the guys actually painted those stripes on. Those aren't stick on, and that's a nice pearl that he did on that, and I was really happy. The guys did a beautiful job on the paint. Yeah, I spent a lot of time learning new things and learning projects on this bike. This was my first custom, but this one is a very sound riding bike. This is one solid front end bike. It just rides really nice. I really love riding. Of course, that's the main thing that I enjoy doing, but the building of this, it gives me something to do in the wintertime, and this was a great experience, and getting to know everybody and to finding all the other motorcycle enthusiasts like me that have more bikes than they have butts to ride them. I'm a huge Honda fanatic, and if I can promote Honda in any way, the engineering of the Honda just amazed me. The 69 that I restored, and then doing work on a 75, to be able to see the difference in the 4 or 5 years and how they progressed with motorcycle has been an interesting thing to watch. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and again, thank you and you guys for all that you're doing, and you and your channel and promoting this stuff. So hopefully one of my bikes will be in the one show. So yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. This has been another tale from the cul-de-sac. Please remember to subscribe and click the little bell, and you'll get a notice whenever I release a new video, usually every Sunday morning and sometimes during the week.